What's up, guys? It's Crash, and the 0.3 update for Gray Zone Warfare has been absolutely game-changing and a ton of fun to play. But if you guys caught my first impression videos, there were some issues that I had and some balancing changes that need made. I and some other content creators talked about several changes as well that need to be coming to the game ASAP. And Mad Finger Games is definitely listening, because today we found out that the patch that many of you haven't even played yet is already getting a patch, in and of itself. It's getting a patch to the patch before you guys even get it. So they're making some, in my opinion, some really important changes. I'll talk about a little bit at the end of the video what I think could continue to be done about the game, and some other tweaks and changes that I would personally make. And I would love to hear in the comments down below what you guys think of all that. With that being said, we don't have the day. This is a release day update. That release day is an elusive little critter, isn't it? We don't exactly know officially when it's going to launch, but what we do know is officially Twitch drops. They will be on my channel as well. The first couple stages will be on my channels. The elite operators for the bigger creators will not, but the first 2 rounds of drops will be on my channel, twitch.tv/crash8. I would love to have you guys over there to come hang out and get some of these drops and some of the cool cosmetics that are coming to the game. But we know that that's May 22nd. So that's happening May 22nd. That's all we're able to say. But yeah, May 22nd. It should be fun with Twitch drops over on the channel. Now, we have to talk about this update because it is really cool. We have to hand it to Mad Finger Games for, probably working almost around the clock to get things ready for when this does update and hit the public servers. They are already changing things based on what happened. If you guys have watched some of my streams on here and on Twitch, the cop system is mayhem, and it completely changes the game. And I understand that, kind of sometimes you get into a loop of taking a cop, and if you guys watch the stream, it was just constant PvP. We were taking cops, and it almost started to feel like a Battlefield conquest mode. And I just think it's really important. I don't know, nobody knows how it's going to play when it comes to the test servers, but I can almost be certain it's not going to play like that. That was crazy. That was a bunch of content creators. It has been crazy with a bunch of content creators that have everything unlocked. Nobody needs to do a mission. Everybody has all the stuff unlocked already. And so the only thing there is to do is to check out the new system, the new cops, and the new PvPs, and go for content and crazy clips and just all out warfare, kind of like that. And it did honestly feel like conquest. But I think when people launch, whenever this launches and people get out there after the wipe, you're going to be wanting to do quests because you're going to want to get those traders up. You're going to be, wanting to get money and earn money. You're not going to have a stash full of the kitted gear and, 500 grand worth of money. So people are going to be doing that. And I think it's going to be a lot more organic. That being said, this opportunity of constant fighting around the cops gave us a really good sample size of fights, engagements, and conflicts to kind of see what needs to happen. And one of the big things were some cheesy respawns with the cops. There were a couple times, like I've said before, the meta would be to maybe run out really, if you knew people were coming, if you saw like a PvP zone, to run out, go try to get a kill with that, because if you die, you essentially get at least a second, maybe even a third life, because you can instantly spawn back in the cop. So you run out, you try to take some with you. If you die, you can instantly respawn, grab your stuff, and you're in the cop ready to defend instantly. That's a little bit cheesy. People also dying in the cops could instantly knife respawn and run to their body, lay down and grab their stuff really quick. So there was just some really weird instances like that. And I think there was some stuff in there because sometimes you couldn't respawn if it was contested, but they're basically updating and making that a little bit more sure to where you can't respawn if there are enemies within a distance. And they're doing that by, making the AI calm or aggroed, and that's how it tells if it's contested. So a cop is not contested when the spawn nearby AI are calm. When the AI don't detect anybody, no one's on the area, it's not contested and you can spawn there. A cop becomes contested when the AI is alert, alarmed, or dead. So if someone shoots them, then it becomes contested. You guys can't spawn there until you clear it and eliminate the threat, and maybe even recapture it. But if any AI has been killed, the cop remains contested until the AI respawns and AI are calm again. So that sounds like it's on a timer. I wasn't exactly sure. So it sounds like that's on a timer where the AI will respawn and then it'll settle down and you can use the cop again and respawn there. So this is going to be good. This is going to eliminate some cheesy deaths. some ridiculous respawns, and this is very, very important. But when it is contested, that means no respawns at all. So it's going to be a little bit, it's going to tilt it a little back in the way of the people who are attacking if you're taking a cop, and the AI stay alarmed for several minutes after spotting or reacting to threats. So they're alerted for, that's on a cooldown. If they see something, if they hear something, take damage, take suppression or whatever, they will then be aggroed and be on a cooldown timer, and during that time it'll be contested. So it's going to help a lot. There was some crazy instances where people respawned and running out with knives, one-shotting people, grabbing their stuff really quick, and it just, you would kill someone and then they would kill you like 30 seconds later. So that's really going to help. The other thing that I and pretty much everyone has talked about, even since they unveiled the gameplay, right, is the voiceover. You know, like the enemies, combatants, enemy PMC taking fire like over and over and over and over. What they're doing with that, this is going to need some more tweaks in my opinion, but what they're doing with that off the bat to make it a little bit more reasonable is the voiceovers will trigger when a cop is contested, captured, or lost, but you have to be within 1,500 meters of that. So you're not going to hear it all the time whenever there's something clear across the map going on. The voiceover is only going to trigger when a combat zone is created. And the combat zone is when, you know, PvP happens and it makes the red circle on the map and the player is within 300 meters. So you have to be close to it when it happens. And a new combat zone is not within 200 meters of an existing one or 100 meters of a cop. So what that means is, whenever you have fights and another, you know, CZ would pop up, conflict zone would pop up, it would say that every single time and spam over and over. Now there is some logic in there that if it's close to another one, if it's already been established, if you're not close to it, it's not going to clog up those airways. So that's going to help with spam and reduce confusion. And there's going to be more improvements coming out. They said that they're going to keep working on that. So I'm really hopeful that they're going to continue to work on that. I think that will be really cool. And my opinion would be leave those changes in there, but also give us a volume slider. I think it would be really cool, and even a hotkey to mute it, right? Like, so you could put a volume slider if you want to hear it low, because maybe you're in a fight, you want to listen to footsteps, but you also want to know that information when things are going on. So if you kept it low, you could still stay in the fight, hear it low. And as well as if stuff's hitting the fan and someone's really close to you, you hear footsteps and that starts to go off, maybe we hit a hotkey and we mute that channel for a little bit and we can listen to what's going on. So I think that would be really cool. The armband visibilities, armbands are now going to have IR reflected material. I think the armbands helped quite a bit. They were pretty bright. I was able to see them through some sniper scopes at a long distance. They helped a lot. Still, what you kind of have to do sometimes, if you're using a 1x at a long distance, you're not going to be able to tell. You kind of have to pull up your tablet and look. You still have to ID your target, but up close when stuff is crazy, the blue armbands are really nice. They were essentially invisible at night unless you had an IR illuminator. That helped night vision across the board, of course, if you have an IR illuminator. But where they're adding IR reflective material, it should make it really, really visible at night, and that's going to help a lot. There's going to be a lot of bug fixes already that they found, where if you guys were watching and you saw a dark image when aiming down sights, some of the strike missions weren't working, all kinds of stuff with localization categories and voiceovers and cops are now going to be limited, and not when you're in a coma or in the jet. All that stuff going on is going to help and really move the PvP and the direction of this patch in the right direction. And what's really cool about this is happening before it even goes to live servers, because I think if the general public, if you guys, the player base, would have got this immediately, it would have been really frustrating. And I know there's some mixed feelings on the content creator playtest being early. I know a lot of people have valid concerns, and I totally get it, to where it's like, I paid for the supporter edition for an early access game. Let me play the early access. I totally get what you're saying, but you can't deny that one of the bright sides of this is allowing, you know, a targeted group of people to test it out that can give feedback, and then Madfinger cashing that in and actually following through and acting on that feedback before it gets to you guys. So this, I think, is a win for the content creator playtest. I'm not only saying that because I am one. I am with you guys. I'm a smaller creator. I miss out on stuff all the time, and I don't get into playtests and things like that. I am fortunate enough to be able to play in this one, but I totally understand your guys' frustration, and it should not be long now until everybody's out there, and we'll have at least a full 6 months with this patch to dive into it, get things changed. The other things that I am personally concerned about and want to keep my eye on with balance, and I think I'll probably do a video in the next day or so about some of the tactics and things you can do to start off well and start off right off the bat. doing well in 0.3, some tips and tricks, I guess, if you will, and maybe talk about some of the guns, because I really do like the SVD quite a bit. Is what I think they're going to need to potentially balance is being able to loot the AI, because I think when you're on a lower populated server, and even on PvE, maybe not even have the AI. I don't know how that's going to work where there is no PvP at all in the PvE servers, how that's going to work. The AI won't aggro on you. I don't know how taking a cop from an enemy faction is going to work in PvE. That's going to be really interesting. But at least in the PvP servers, you can really farm gear if you go around and take the PMCs, the cops, because you can kill those AI fairly easily. And then they have M4s, they have M855, they have some decent, class 3 armor and some decent, even I think I saw some 3+ helmets and stuff. And you're at your stash essentially when you kill them. You kill all those AI, cap the point, and then you put that in your backpack, instantly cache that in your stash, instantly put it away, and you can really farm loot that way. So that's going to be interesting to see. Maybe there needs to be a cooldown, or maybe even like in the bases where you can't loot the AI out there, because that's going to be a way to really cheese it and get quite a bit of money, because you'll come across servers where the enemy factions have taken a ton of cops. There's no way they can hold them, and you can see where they're fighting, and you can go around behind them, take those cops, and just instantly cache all that loot. So that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, among a couple other things with the cops. It's just going to be cool to see how it works, man. It's a complete change of direction for the game. It's going to completely change how it flows, how it works. And having got into some PvP over the last few days, I'm pretty excited to hop in and play it from the beginning and really feel how, how much more streamlined questing is, leveling up the traders and unlocking stuff without having to fly on the chopper. So that's what's coming so far in the day 1 patch for 0.3 that I hope you guys get very, very soon, and we can all get in there and play together. I'm excited for that. I cannot thank you guys enough for the love and the support and just the crazy amount of people that have been coming through the streams, both here on YouTube and on Twitch. It's been incredibly humbling and awesome to have so many people coming and hanging out while we play video games. I'm excited for you guys to get your hands on this, and definitely let me know in the comments what you think of these changes and what you're most excited about coming in the patch 0.3 Winds of War. Guys, thank you again. It's an honor that you chose my content. I really appreciate it, and I'd love to see you next time.